I joined a group called Flight of Voices, an incredible collective of like 60 plus artists, Grammy winners. One guy's a producer, he's got 1 billion Spotify streams. One of my good friend's brothers, when I first moved to LA, he's like, yeah, I went to LA, I want to be a producer. You know, I said if it didn't happen in 3 months, I'm gonna go back.
You might as well not go in the first place. Save yourself 3 months. Right.
These kind of like time limits, people, to me, that's like giving yourself an excuse to quit. Look at 100%. All the big artists, and what is it, Chapel Rowan?
Yeah, Chapel Rowan.
Is that how you say it?
Rowan, I think.
Chapel Rowan.
Yeah.
Edit that part out. I'm not hip with it. Chapel Rowan, you know, she was doing it for 10 years, and then she popped off. You know, she was on a label, got dropped, and then she popped off. Simplify the whole thing. Build a fan base. I've now met my goal of 1,000 followers through TikTok Live. So in the last, week and a half, I got 300 followers.
Really?
Through TikTok Live. A pro tip, the most obvious pro tip that people ignore.
This is They're Good at That Shit, where I talk to independent musicians about things they're doing to kill the game, things they're doing well. And the idea is just to kind of spread the love around, spread the knowledge around, things you may have figured out over your time doing music. So my guest today, he's the host of Writers Round LA founder of Writers Round LA, founder of Writers Round LA, and now they're popping up all over the place, all over the country. Greg and good company. What's going on, brother?
What's up, dude? Broadway, first of all, I'm honored that someone out there like you thinks I'm good at something.
Come on, man.
Yes! Finally, someone thinks I'm good at this shit. About time.
Come on, man. You know you are. All right. So a lot of things to talk about. First of all, we'll start with Writers Round LA. Mm-hmm. So you started Writers Round LA 2019 it was, right?
Yeah, November 2019. So we're coming up fast on our 5-year anniversary.
That's crazy.
Just crazy. Yeah, time flies.
Yeah. So what was it when you started that? Was there frustration about the scene and how, shows, and booking shows and things like that, or was it something else? Kind of what?
I think it was a swirl of conditions of being, and it's like experience meets opportunity, right? So I was given an opportunity to host a weekly show at this bar at the North End, which one of my friends had happened to purchase, and she asked me to do like a weekly residency. And, I knew that, me just playing my music every week will get old real fast. And I had time to think about it, and I went to Nashville for the first time on my first cross-country tour as an artist, and I did my first Songwriter in a Round, which is a very popular format. We do 3 artists on stage, taking turns playing their songs. And, that really, I was like, oh, this is awesome. And like just the vibe of that particular showcase, which was Nashville Tour Stop, I walked in and it was such a friendly, welcoming vibe, which was the complete opposite of what I experienced for the most part in the LA music scene. And so I kind of was like, okay, I think LA needs this. And it was something that a format I was not familiar with, and that a lot of people in LA still aren't familiar with. They come to our night and they're like, wait, what is this? What do I do? What's happening? And then like, oh, that was awesome. And so I think it was, yes, like an opportunity to do something, but I wanted to do something that would not only be interesting enough to be like something weekly, but to keep attracting people, but to make a positive impact on the overall music community. And what I thought was severely lacking in the LA music scene was music community, because I started getting involved in 2014. And for the longest time, for many years, I just wanted to bypass it entirely. I was like, whatever, I'll just go and play elsewhere, start touring. But the reason I had that feeling is because it was just such a poorly kind of cultivated sense of community. It was just like very ego driven, very competitive, and just like very poor quality curation. I would be my band, which is like, I don't know, folk rock, Americana, was playing with like metal bands and hip hop and pop, and I'm just like, wait, what? And that was just my experience. There was still certainly cool stuff happening for sure. LA is such a huge city. So like the LA music scene, that's a pretty big blanket, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and there's like a bunch of little, scenes within that
Pockets,
term. Yeah. And that's what makes it so great. I've been actively involved for so many years now. It's like there's things I've never been to and probably never will be, just because that's how much there is. But yeah, so I'd say it was kind of that kind of cornucopia of elements, and for me it was like, okay, let's make this a community service project. Let's do something that I can, because at that time, and I apologize in advance for just continuing to talk.
No, all good, bro. So we're here to hear from you.
At that time, that was like, okay, 2018 is when like my career as an independent artist really started to like, I'd say like started to catch fire. A little spark started to burn, and I was consistently getting paid gigs. It was becoming part of my regular income. I was playing with a bunch of higher level artists than me. I joined a group called Flight of Voices, which is an incredible collective of like 60 plus artists, and they're all like way bigger and more successful than me. Grammy winners, millions and millions. One guy's a producer, he's got 1 billion Spotify streams, but wow. So I was like in very good company, and I was like, okay, I have this great network of people that I can pull from and have them come in. And I wanted to create something that was kind of a melting pot for artists of all levels. And whether you're just starting out and coming and you can throw your name in our hat for our open rounds, but also I wanted to bring in incredible talent that would inspire people to continuously want to like level up and raise their game. And so for me, the Writers Round formula, what I think like my twist that I think made it something where other artists came and said, this is awesome. I would like to, I wish this was in my hometown or where I live. And if I liked them, I thought they're cool, I'd say, all right, start one. I challenge them. And that's how it kind of started growing. But I think it's really having that quality curation, delivering on, we say we bring the best singer-songwriters from the LA music scene and beyond, delivering on that consistently every week, and also having opportunity for people to wander in and be seen and be heard and get discovered, whether it's by us as curators or someone else in a room who probably is doing something or says, hey, let's collaborate in some way. And I think that was combining a curated showcase with the Writers Round format, the Songwriter in a Round, which is 3 artists on stage taking turns playing songs, and then having an opportunity for anyone at random to be picked from the hat and to do a couple, a song or two. That I think is a magic formula that I had not seen anywhere else. I had not seen that happening.
Yeah.
So that's what I think really made it kind of so accessible, and what really made it different, stand out, and what has led to it becoming like this, franchise.
When you started it, did you think, oh, I'm going to do these all over the country, or it just kind of like naturally progressed to that?
Very organic, very organic. My goal was just to make my night Wednesdays at the North End as cool and fun as possible, as warm, welcoming, as quality curated as possible. Make sure everyone had a great experience so they'd want to come back and tell their friends. It really wasn't until I can't, honestly, it's been so long now, I can't remember if I had the thought first of like, oh, we could do more of these, or if it was because my friend Ben Grace, who started Writers Round San Diego, he came up to play, and he said, I love this, man. The San Diego music scene really needs something like this. And he was the first person I said, well, why don't you start one? I got this vibe that he was a good dude. He got it. He understood what I was going for. And, a couple weeks later, he's like, hey, man, if you're serious about that, I'll do it. And Writers Round San Diego is one of the most successful chapters, absolutely thriving. Always, I love going down there to play. It's always popping, always a packed house, and people love it and appreciate it. And so, I can't remember exactly if I had the idea for like let's put these all over the country,
Right.
or if that was kind of the spark. But I do remember the year after I started it. So I started 2019. Had gone to Nashville about 6 months before that, and I went to Nashville again the following year. And I do remember being like, I had like another revelation there of like, oh, this could be, Writers Round could really be like a brand. It could be bigger than just, one night in Hollywood a week. So I'd say a mix of like vision and organic to that kind of happening. But certainly for the most part, it's grown. Now we have 8 chapters. Laguna Beach was just announced.
Yeah.
Portland, Writers Round Portland was just announced, which Ben Grace also had a hand in starting because he lives there now. And we also have Writers Round Knoxville, Tennessee, New Jersey, which is on hiatus at the moment, and Fullerton, Orange County, San Diego, LA, right? So, we're constantly getting different inquiries from people, but for me, I just got to know that they're the right fit to do it, and I also got to really know that they really want to do it because it's a lot of work.
Oh yeah,
you're the host now of Writers Round LA, doing a great job.
Thank you.
And like, it's a lot of work, and it's like even to just show up once a week to something is a lot in itself.
Sure.
And you do that for multiple things too. Like you're hosting Monday. Your ability to go out there to do your thing, like as a news producer, as a great independent artist, and as a community cultivator, and as a host, doing your own shows astounds me.
Thank you, bro.
So yeah, you know it. But so I just know for me, it's like it's not about taking over the world or trying to blow it up and be in every city. It's about making sure that wherever Writers Round does go, it's going to be a quality experience with quality people running it. It's not just going to be expansion for the sake of expansion.
And it's cool too because now I'm like, okay, if I'm ever in New Jersey, I hit Rory up if he starts it back up, or if I'm going down to San Diego, which is cool because San Diego is just right down the street, or Laguna's right down the street. If you want to start doing, like, for me, I haven't really done a lot of touring, but I was like, yeah, that's kind of a cool way to kind of be able to do some touring, kind of get my foot wet in that sense, to hit up the Writers Round, and that goes, and not just because I'm the host, but people also a part of the Writers Round community could for sure reach out to the people like the same way.
And that's it, man. It's like there's so many benefits to Writers Round, and other things like Writers Round were not unique. There's Open Folk that has different chapters around the country, and they do a great job, great experience. And that's all curated. There's other ones too, but it's like, it's about connection, truly. It's about community in a wider sense. And if you're an independent artist, your biggest asset is your network, because we have all the tools in the palm of our hand, on a smartphone or on a computer, on an iPad, to make music. We can easily distribute it. We have social media to market it for free. But it's like, that kind of connection, and especially like knowing someone personally, physically, hello, I shook your hand. We played around together. We did that. We played Writers Round together. It gives you that kind of bond. And I've seen that, grow in so many different examples. But once, San Diego launched, it was really like, oh, we could really have these chapters up and down the coast of California. And then I think New Jersey was the third one to launch. And then I was like, oh shit, it's across it's all the way 3,000 miles on the other side of the country. And so the vision is definitely like this is a touring circuit for independent artists, and we've had people on labels play. It's to me, it's just kind of like it's a safe space. It's an oasis. It's a place you can go. It's something to do, and it's like, yeah, there's no money involved in it. No one's getting paid. We don't sell tickets, but it's like you're gonna get something just from connecting with people, and you never know how that's gonna play out. And gosh, I've seen so many people benefit in one way or the other.
100%. I mean, yeah, you definitely, touched on something very important there that I want to talk about. I mean, even for me personally, because like with Writers Round and other things, like, I met Tori Leopard at Writers Round, and we did a song together that, and I love that song.
I love that song too.
Thank you. And like, Nina Nepa and Jovi, like, who come to Writers Round, like, whenever I, a lot of times when I do full band shows, they sing background for me, you know what I mean? And they've been amazing, and it's like, having people like that, that's like one of the like really cool things about it, is like meeting people that are down to like, play on your music, down to write songs with you, down to do shows with you, and that's like a big, because I meet, or I hear from people who say like, man, I'm having problems like finding bandmates and like that kind of thing. Dude. So it's like getting out to things like Writers Round is like kind of where you find these people.
100%. LA's nickname, my friend once called it Hired Gun City. Like, it's like to start a band in LA is so difficult because everyone expects to get paid, which when you're just starting out doesn't really happen unless you're, you have a vision for, like, you're a cover band, you're a tribute band, or you're just a really good entrepreneur and you're hustling to get gigs. But it's a lot of people, I'll be like, hey, you want to play? We're doing, we do a full band showcase now, which I'm going to after this. Second Thursdays at Boomtown Brewery now, every second Thursday of the month. And some bands I've asked to play, and we're booking artists who've played the Writers Round rounds. And some say, I can't do it because it's just, it's too costly for me to get a band together. And for me as an artist, I'm familiar with that experience, but I've never had that experience because I've been lucky, blessed, the shine down upon to meet the artists who are down at the very least to play with me without expectation of getting paid. And if we got paid, it was a bonus, and I was certainly very motivated to, these guys and gals and some non-binary friends were playing with me, so I was like, okay, they deserve to get paid. So it motivated me more so to find us paying gigs as well. But yeah, it's Hired Gun City out there, and it's like, just showing up to events is where it happens organically. And I always advise for any creative, whatever community you're in, just show up with an open heart, open mind. And like, it's when you show up with these expectations, you're going to get something out of it that like, it never happens. But when you just are there and you're present, like, shit happens. It's just weird. But that's how it goes. And so absolutely, that's just another of the other benefits of Writers Round.
And I think also like people, I think, get frustrated by the bad experiences, or like you have an experience where, somebody asks you for, $1,000 or whatever. I'm exaggerating, but like the point is, ask you for a sum of money that it's like, whoa, I can't do that, or whatever. Or, you collaborate with people and maybe it doesn't work out, or it wasn't what you thought it was going to be, or whatever. Like, you can't get discouraged by that, I guess, because like, the other people are around the corner, that are going to be down to do it for free and just for the love of it. And like you said, it's like, I have been fortunate as well to play with some people that have just been down to do it. And, but like you said, it's like, okay, when I can, I'm like, okay, let me make sure I get these people some money because they've been so amazing, and it's been great.
And I honestly think too, I think it's a bit delusional when people think they're going to get paid, playing with these just starting out bands. And I think, like my friend once said many years ago, it's always stuck with me. He goes, my dad always said the worst part about the music industry is musicians because I've met some very delusional ones, very entitled, very arrogant, like they expect the world to be handed to them without doing any of the work. They expect that because they're good at what they do and they post on Facebook the day of the show that they're having a show tonight, that the world should just rush out and go see them. And then they get, I had to get off Facebook, especially all these music groups, because just a bunch of people complaining about how, the LA music scene sucks and, people aren't getting paid or they want me to play for exposure, this and that, yada, yada. And, all that's true to some extent, but like it is, you got to make it happen. You got to make it happen. And this is business economics 101, supply and demand. There's a lot of supply of musicians who would like to be on big stages, but what's the demand? Well, you have to cultivate some type of demand. And like I said earlier, we have all the tools to do that. But, secret of getting ahead is getting started. As we have these motivational sayings, don't just wish for it, work for it. That's so true. My friend Josh Moreland, who just signed with
Rock Nation,
Rock Nation, fantastic artist. He's been at this since 2002 or 4, long time now, 20 years, right?
Yeah.
And he just got signed with Rock Nation like 6 months ago. He's driven Uber. He's done all the things while having like huge highs too, and like working with like legendary artists. But I remember one call just on the phone. He was like, "Dude, you got to clock in to get paid." I was like, "Oh, that's so true." Like if you want to make your music a business, you got to clock in, and it's not just going to happen for you. And I think, musicians could do themselves a favor by having a little more awareness of like the economics. And it's like, are you really gonna, is it really, someone's like, "Hey, can you come play at this dive bar with me in North Hollywood?" And they're like, "Yeah, can you pay me $300? It's like, I don't know. And it's like, look, if you're only looking for those paid gigs, that's fine too. And there's a lot of people who do that through session work and through touring and hired guns. That's all viable too. But like, I just think that like, you have to look at, it is what it is, and you have to be aware of what it is. And it's like, I think at the end of the day, my experience is that musicians all want to play good music. They all, especially original music. So if you're a talented singer-songwriter who's got great music, I do think it will attract people of talent who want to play with you. And that's what happened with me, where my bandmates, they just like the music. They like playing it, and everything else is a bonus. Yeah, I've seen and I've met some very delusional people.
Yeah.
And, I see them not growing. That's I just see them in the same place they were 10 years ago.
Right.
And I see the people who are truly growing, they just do it. They go out there and do it. Nike's got the best slogan, just do it. You can think about it, talk about it, pray about it, all you want, post about it, but just go and do it. That's it. And it's like, there's only one way to do it, and that's to do it. And there, within that, of course, there's a bunch of different specifics to do, but like, just start. That's all I've ever done as like, okay, where can I play? Farmer's market? I'm in. I'll go set up a farmer's market and play. I'll play for tips. Oh, I'll go play this dive bar. Oh, someone's gonna pay me $50 to play for an hour. I'll do it. And it's like, beyond just thinking of like, am I getting paid? It's like, what are you getting from that gig?
Right.
And for me, I was getting experience. People joke about the exposure points, right? And it's experience points. It's your 10,000 hours. It's your, every time you sing on stage, every time you perform on stage, you're getting better at your instrument. You're getting better at your stage presence, everything. And like, if you truly want to be like a musician or artist who is worthy of people paying astronomical concert ticket prices, you better be damn good, right? And the only way to get damn good is to go out and do it. I don't know any other way.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you touched on a few things. Number one, like for me personally, when it comes to music, I've never like been focused on the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that might sound like silly because ultimately, yeah, I would love to, full time, like, getting paid big bucks to do music, of course. But, in the meantime, I feel like it's kind of like you said, like I'm getting the experience. Like if I love somebody's music, if I like their music and they ask me to play keys for them, like I'm like, this is an opportunity for me to get better at the keys. You know what I mean? Like, and even, even it's like, yes, if you're good at the instrument already, like, are you the best? Probably not, so it's like, this is an opportunity to work towards becoming the best. And then when you're the best, then that's when the money, it's just like, the money comes.
And like I have found too, just like magic, like something comes from something. Right. Nothing comes from nothing. A woman I met at a Paso Robles Vineyard gig, I was talking to her afterwards, and she said, nothing comes from nothing, something comes from something. I was like, absolutely. You got to do something to get something more. And I'm always blown away by that. And someone else phrased the same thing, but a different phrasing is meet the universe halfway. And it's like, every time I've met the universe halfway, I've gotten something, and stuff I get, I'm like, holy smokes, I can't believe, it blows my mind a lot of times, but it has always led to something more. And in terms of money, as a professional, since I started making money from just tips or little gigs here and there, every year I make more money. Every year became like half of my, because I'm also a writer, it's like half of my income is music, and it's just like you just keep doing it. But yeah, I think, and it's also too, if you want to make money, everyone knows you want to build a company, right? It's investment, and there's no money to be had until there's money to be had. In fact, some of the biggest companies in the world are still not profitable. Right. They just have value, so they keep getting equity investments, shareholders, all that stuff. Right. But it's like, so when you're investing in yourself, you can't just be thinking about money. Right. And I think it's foolish and delusional to only be thinking about money. And I think think about how much you spend money on, but if you're getting experience developing those skills, you don't have to spend that money on someone else. There's all sorts of examples, but yeah, I think the key is just doing it, and everyone who just does it consistency religiously. It's religiously, like you have to. It has to be life. Music is life. If you really want to make it, life is how you spend your days. My buddy Harry Katz and Pistachios has been posting on Instagram, and I'm like, it's so true. Yeah. Whatever your life amounts to is however you spent your days. Yeah. And so if you want to make progress in your profession, that's how you must spend your days. So yeah, I without a doubt, the money will come. You just got to have faith that the money will come.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about, you've talked about touring some, and I know you've done tours across the country. You talked about earlier. If somebody's and I was saying earlier, I haven't really done a ton of touring, which I think is something that would be cool to do. For people who might be like me, looking to get out on the road, what kind of tips, advice would you give for those folks?
Well, I mean, look, we were talking about writers around how we have this now circuit, right? I think, for example, if you just you could start small. Going to play down in Fullerton as you've done, going down to play in San Diego. Okay, they're launching the Portland chapter. Maybe you make it a go. I'm going to go play Writers Round Portland. And okay, that's a 16-hour drive. I'm going to make a 4-day tour out of that, up and back. And I'm going to play 2 shows up, 2 shows down, whatever. But the first thing I would say about touring, and why I think it's really important for independent artists to do this, is you have to do it to see if you like it. Because I personally love it. To me, it's a very fun. It's fun. It's freeing. It's liberating. It's a very spiritual experience for me, and I always have a total blast and just get so much great life experience from it. That makes, regardless of whether I actually came out on top from a certain tour, but you have to do it to see if you like it, because there's also a lot of musicians say, I actually hate touring. They don't like it.
Yeah.
But if this is your life, this is your career you're working toward, you better find out sooner or later if you actually like the most important part of that career, which is being on the road, especially now where physical media has been so devalued. Artists are making their money by touring. So if you hate touring, at the very least, you can go, okay, I want to make money off, I want to make my living off music, but I don't want to tour. Okay, eliminate that and figure out another strategy. Because another plus of the climate we live in is you can do whatever you want. There's so many different ways to monetize it. You can just stream all day. You can just be a totally online presence and do that too, and have a fan base, and that's fine too.
Right.
But
or explore sync or things like that
sync,
too. Yeah.
Whatever. Right. I think it's just figure out, but it's one of those things you have to do to see if that's part of your what you want to do. So do a tour, see if you like it. If it gives you life, then keep doing it. And I think it's just about again clocking in to get paid. You got to put the work in to reach out to venues and short and sweet emails. Hey, I typically approach it two ways. Either it's kind of like feelers, like, hey, I'd love to come play sometime, because then maybe they'll book me, and then that's an excuse to book more shows for that, to get up to that San Francisco or something.
Yeah.
Or it's like, when you're coming through, which is, hey, submission, FYC, this date, that's helpful too for booking agents, I know.
Yeah.
But it's like until you get to a level where you have a booking agent, where someone's going to take interest in you and see that you're a viable, that they can make money off you,
right? That
they can book you and make money. You have to do it yourself, and the only way to do it is to do it. But yeah, it's super fun, and I think also too you have to figure out look at what kind of music you are, what you bring, what's your vibe, and then reach out to places that match your vibe. Like I said, I'm kind of like folk rock, Americana, singer-songwriter. I can do full band, I can do by myself, whatever. So breweries, vineyards love me. I can do, I always try to apply to festivals every year. And if I get a festival, then it's like, okay, that's my tour.
Yeah. I was also on that. I was also talking to Jessica Vines, and she was talking about when she goes out on tour, you talked about similar venues or vibes or venues that are cater to your vibe, but then also she was talking about reaching out to artists that are similar to your vibe as well in that city.
Totally.
And then or looking at that venue that you're looking at that caters to your genre, and then see what artists have played there in the past, and then reach out to them and say, hey, you want to do a show together? So she says she's done that, and that's worked for her.
And here's a pro tip, the most obvious pro tip that people ignore. Follow artists that meet your vibe, and see where they play, and then reach out to those venues. When I see my artist friends playing certain vineyards, breweries, I'm like, okay, great, I'm gonna reach out to them. And then I think it's too like, what do you want out of the gig? And for me, I like to get paid, so I like to play 2-3 hour sets of music, and it's mostly originals, and we put in some covers to fill time, covers that I enjoy playing, and you can get paid really good money plus tips, and you're making fans. I like that, because I'm not, ticket selling, it's just not really my thing at this juncture, because it's a lot of work, it's a lot of effort, and a lot of venues you might not even see any return off that, especially if you're touring. It's hard enough in your home city in LA to sell 35 tickets minimum before you even see any money back from that at your typical kind of hotel cafe show, right? And it's like 35 people in LA. Holy shit! What am I? That's like selling. I might as well be trying to sell at Madison Square Garden,
Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah, just because I say it because it's like it's such a busy city. There's a million bazillion things to do, so it's hard to wrangle. People, even it seems like a small number. But I will say on the flip side too, when you get out of LA, you get out of a big city, and you go to, like, I like to go up to Paso Robles and play. People come out. People appreciate live music so much more when you're out of the big city, because, you know, so not only are you getting paid to play, you have an appreciative audience, but then it's like, okay, they like you. Then when you go back, those same people will come out to see you again, and they'll bring friends. And they might offer to house you. Say, hey, you can stay with me next time. There are so many magical things that happen on the road from these relationships you meet with people who just appreciate what you do and the vibe you bring. And so that's why I really like touring, is because you're reaching an audience that is much more open, receptive, and appreciative of what you're doing compared to the LA audiences. So yeah, I think it's really important to get out. But like every artist that I admire that I see, like Tyler Childers has said this, like the only way to do it is to get out on the road and play. Now that being said, I want to bring up the flip side of that, which is the advent of live streaming and TikTok, which is something, before we started rolling, I said just last week, I've been really like experimenting with TikTok Live. And I got to say, that's a great platform.
Okay.
I think I was resistant to TikTok for many years. But I just didn't feel like it, quite honestly. I just didn't feel like it, I was just like, I just didn't feel like it. And then something happened, probably because my wife told me she was pregnant. I was like, oh shit, I better get on that TikTok. Oh, having a baby? Oh, I better really start growing my audience so I can make more money, support this child. But yeah, I started posting more regularly, a video, 2 videos a day if I could, since like, I don't know, the last 6 months. And I started noticing like way more. It's true. It's a great platform discovery. And I've met so many wonderful people who love what I do, who share my music, who take my songs and put it in their videos, who tag me and say, oh, check out this guy. He's great. And then in the last week, I've been doing TikTok Live. I've now met my goal of 1,000 followers through TikTok Live. So in the last week and a half, I got 300 followers.
Really?
Through TikTok Live.
From TikTok Live?
Yeah.
Wow.
And, it's great. You just pop on and, it's going to show people's feeds, whether follow you or complete stranger. It's mostly people who don't follow me. And, what happens is you start playing and maybe you'll start with like 100 people and then it kind of like dwindles down to like a few people, like between like 4 and 20 or so is what I've been seeing, who will then like watch the entirety of what you're doing. But every time I'm connecting with people around the country who love what I'm doing, who don't just say, hey, you're pretty good. You're like, where can I get the song? Where can I get the song? And, they're very supportive and they're like, I can't wait to see you live. Tell me when you come to Virginia, tell me when you come to Michigan, when you come to Pennsylvania next. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah. This is because I think about how much work goes into a show with my band. You're rehearsing for it.
Sure.
If it's a ticketed show, you got to promote the hell out of it. And even if it's not, I'm still promoting it. Yep. Even if I'm getting paid to play to a built-in audience, I'm still going to do my part and promote the show and support the venue, because that's part of it. I think that's our duty as artists to do that as well. Yeah. But I'm like, okay, I just got 30 followers in 20 minutes. And, of those 35 people really seemed to really like me, and they went to my Spotify and they're listening to my music. I'm just doing that from home with my acoustic guitar. And I don't even use a microphone. I just have my iPhone. That's it. Wow. So I'm not even using a fancy setup. People are like really responding to it well. And so, now I'm just thinking, I'm just going to TikTok Live all day. Like, I'm just doing it as much as I can. And especially in my situation, I just had a kid, my first kid. And so it's like, that's a life-changing thing. And that's very tiring. And that has made me not be able to work as much and go out and gig as much. At least for right now, because he's only a month old. But like, I'm like, I'm at home. I can still be doing something to really build my career in a meaningful way. And it's not just about these are people you can sell to. They'll buy your vinyl, they'll buy your t-shirt, they'll buy your hat, whatever. And I think to boil this all down, and any discussion on music industry, music business, it all comes down to, do you have fans? That's it. It's simplify the whole thing. Build a fan base, make fans, and it's slow and steady. And it's like at a certain point, I mean, it just keeps accumulating. And followers are not fans.
Right.
That's an important distinction.
Yes.
Followers, it's easy to click follow. They might not ever listen to you again. Who knows? Fans, that's short for fanatic. They love what you're doing. And, when they discover an artist who, there's pride there, and they take ownership of that, and they want to, I'm seeing it, they want to help get your music out there.
So one thing you touched on earlier, I want to talk about for a second, is just like the building, the slow and steady build. I feel like a lot of people come to LA and they feel like they think they're going to put a song up on Spotify, it's gonna blow up, and then that's it. Or I'm gonna, I shoot my first music video, it's gonna blow up on YouTube, and then I'm gonna be famous. And that's what they think. But it's like, if you're building a house, you don't just wake up and then the mansion's built. It's like, it's one brick at a time.
One nail and
one right.
Sit back waiting.
Right.
When's it just gonna erect?
Appear. Yes, right. It doesn't erect itself, right? But yeah, it's one brick at a time. It's one light fixture at a time, one toilet at a time, one piece of plumbing. Like it's just one thing at a time. And I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily understand that, especially first. And I think when you approach it that way, also I feel like you take some of the steps necessary to make sure you're grabbing those fans along the way, because you understand it's about, instead of like, I'm not just expecting this to blow up. The purpose of this one piece of content is, if I can get 1 fan, 2 fans, 5 fans off of this one piece of content, cool. Yeah. If I can get 1 fan, 2 fans, 10 fans from this show, cool. If I can get 1 fan, 2 fans from this thing, you know what I mean? And so it's like, when you have that intention, then you do things a little differently versus just throwing it out there to the wind and hoping it. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And when you do that, because I've been there, I've had that thought.
Same.
I remember I got so depressed when I released, my first EP, and like, I pushed it hard. I made music videos for it. And it got like, a couple hundred views, maybe one topped out a couple thousand views. And, the no label offers rolled in, no big gigs. And I was just like, real deflated.
Yeah.
But, that was also an incredibly valuable experience too, to feel that, to deal with that, to sit with that, to overcome that, and to realize that, this is who I am. This is part of my life. It's not just like, I think the worst thing, and it's very laughable to me when people are like, well, I'm going to give it 2 years.
Yeah, right.
I remember one of my good friend's brothers, when I first moved to LA, he's like, yeah, I went to LA. I want to be a producer. I said, if it didn't happen in 3 months, I'm going to go back.
You might as well not go in the first place. Save yourself 3 months.
Shit, you got to take 3 months to find your first job, your first apartment off the couch. I mean, it's like these kind of like time limits. People, to me, that's like giving yourself an excuse to quit. And I also wonder when people are like, I'm quitting. I'm like, what exactly are you quitting? Because if you are an artist, you are an artist. If you are a songwriter, you are a songwriter. You're going to keep, like, you're just going to stop. Like, when you started doing it, when you started playing the guitar or piano or writing songs, you weren't getting paid. You just did it because you loved it.
Right.
And then you did it because you loved it long enough where you're like, I think I'm good enough to go out and play publicly. And then, okay, I think I'm pretty good live. I think I can, command a fee for this, or I can sell tickets, right? I just, when people are like, I'm going to quit, or I'm going to give it this amount of time, it's like, it's going to happen when it's going to happen.
Right.
I think like people make life more complex than it needs to be. And I boil it down to whatever happens, happens. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like, again, the work you put in, that's the motor. But then the universe will meet you halfway. Things will happen that seem magical. I've experienced it many times, no doubt. And to me, it seems like, that 10 years, 10,000 hours is kind of the new, like that's, you look at
100%.
all the big artists, and what is it, Chapel Rowan?
Yeah, Chapel
Is that how you say it?
Rowan, I think.
Chapel Rowan.
Yeah.
Edit that part out. I'm not hip with it. Chapel Rowan, she was doing it for 10 years, and then she popped off. She was on a label, got dropped, and then she popped off. I know so many artists who are like on a label and then get dropped, and then they are doing better than they were on a label, or they think they get this dream deal or a big manager and nothing happens for them. Like, things tend to happen in the strangest of ways. And a woman at my first show of this past season I did, of like the spring summer season, I played an event in Palm Springs, and this woman I met was like, she was like very kind of like mystical hippie type woman. She was like, want to make God laugh? You know how to make God laugh? Tell him your plans. And I just thought, oh, that's,
it's true.
Shit, I'm not like a religious person, but it's like, that hits,
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. Things happen in the strangest of ways. And, only in hindsight can we trace it back to,
right.
Oh, it was because I did this and did that and did that. But in the moment, all we can do is perform.
Just do your thing. Keep doing it, like you
Yeah.
said. And that was crazy to me going back to, sorry, I'm like,
It's all good.
going back, but to like the TikTok. You said like in the course of like a week, you saw like hundreds of followers.
Yeah, man.
Which is insane to me. I didn't even realize it was like, it was like that.
And that to me too was an illustration of you got to clock in to get paid. When you post a piece of content, if you get 1 follower, 2 followers, 5 followers from that, that's a win. That's a huge
100%,
win.
100%.
And the bigger win is when they keep coming back to your stuff and leaving comments. Oh, I love this one. Oh, I love this too. They go through and like, okay, you didn't just get a follower, you got an engaged fan that can cultivate and either grow away or grow closer to you, depending how you play it. But okay, let's do the economics on that. If it took you takes me like maybe a half an hour, maybe sometimes an hour to make like a video, sometimes less, right? I'm going to film it. It's going to take me a couple takes where I'm fucking up and going, damn it, to redo it. I'm going to put it through. I'm going to do some audio tweaks, put some reverb on, do some slight color correction. The captions. Oh, the captions. Because if you just rely on the captions for singing are never accurate. They're so far off that you have to do them yourself. So anyway, you post it. Of course, it's gonna get a disappointing amount of views for you. You're like, you're hoping is this the one that's gonna go viral? And then it's like 200 views, whatever. But what kept me going on TikTok is that I noticed I kept getting new people following me, new people engaged, commenting, positive feedback. And so instead of worrying about the views, instead of getting disheartened that I spent an hour on this video and only 200 people watched it, and maybe a view is like, what, a second or two? It could just be like, look.
Right.
That's maybe what they saw in my voice. Like, told me to shut. They don't. So a view is nothing.
Right.
But maybe the follower and the more importantly, the engaged follower. That's huge.
Yeah.
And so I started seeing that. And, my follower count was steadily going up. And people were steadily commenting and sharing the video. So I'm like, okay, this is good. Something's happening here.
I think because the TikTok thing is great to me. I think one thing is like, do what's working. I feel like we get so distracted by all these different things that we have to do. It's like, I have to be doing this and I have to do this and I have to do this. But then it's like, if you find something that's working, fucking do that. You know what I mean? Like one of my first podcast guest was Ann Reburn, who has 370 something thousand YouTube subscribers now. And it's like, she's found something that was working and she just kept fucking doing that.
I think ultimately it's just like, do you have a good product and are you going to keep doing it?
Yeah.
And I think going back to Writers Round, and probably the biggest enemy of every artist or professional, especially in the creative field, anything creative, it's like your mental health, your tenacity, your determination, and how easy it is to get in a funk where you just get frozen and don't want to do anything. And that's why it's another reason and benefit of Writers Round, where it's like, for me and for many others, I'm sure for yourself as well, it is renewal. It is renewable. Like you go there, you might be tired as shit, and then you just feel great. You leave with a high. You leave feeling that was a great night. You leave, you've had great discussions. You're there. It invigorates you. It remotivates you to keep going. And that I think is absolutely crucial, because the biggest obstacle and the thing that will tear you down is your own demons, your own mental health issues, your own, so it's like, that is so important to cultivate. And if you lose that, you're truly rudderless.
Yeah, it's important to hang around people who motivate you, who inspire you, who who are gonna like give you that lift sometimes, because we all go through that, the ebbs and flows, there's peaks and valleys, and sometimes you need that little boost. So it's like putting yourself in the position to get that. You know what I mean? Like to get that boost. I've also, something we were talking about before, I've also been trying to rethink how I think about views on social media. Yeah. Because like if like we had 200 people in a room when we're playing live, like that's like amazing. You know what I mean? And so I'm like even, okay, if I got 200 views on this, like it's easy to be like, damn. But I'm like, all right, I try to look at it now. It's like, all right, well, if, even if 200 people are coming in and out of a bar, they're, like whatever, it's like, all right, that was 200 people that, got a chance to hear what I'm doing. So like, I'm trying to even stuff like that, I'm trying to like rethink, like the more you can like keep things in a positive light, reframe, and like to keep you like motivated and keep you going. Like that's like, I'm really like big on that now.
Well, it's what it is, and this is why this is the dark side of social media. It's so easy to get in a funk where you're comparing yourself where you're at to where someone else again appears to be at, and you wish you had that, right? But a view could be incredibly significant, or it could be nothing at all. Because again, a view, I think it may be like 2 or 3 seconds to count as a view. It's not really that much. Most people get a few seconds in these videos and move on. And a lot of the comments too, I know this because I do it. I'm just like supportive. I don't even watch the content sometimes. It's like fire, love it. Hell yeah, keep going. So to me, it's a big mirage. It's a big mirage. And again, as someone who's like, has been actively monetizing by with a strategy, with my strategies playing with his built-in audiences where people are going to pay me to play for a few hours. I know that there are people who have, millions of streams and, thousands and thousands of followers who aren't really getting paid in that way. They're only getting paid through the ticketed shows. And, I know from my experience, they probably aren't making that much money off those ticketed shows.
Also want to talk to you quickly. You mentioned you just had a kid. Yeah, a little baby in good company. So how has that been, just balancing, the family life and, the music? It's been good. It's been good. I am fortunate to have an incredible wife who is very competent. So we now have between us 12 nieces and nephews. Oh, wow. So she helped raise her niece and nephew. Her sister had very young. And so she's a social worker. She's very good with kids and very competent and like super organized. I'm not organized. I do what she tells me to do and I take her lead. But like whereas maybe some couples might have a dynamic where it's like, I need you. No, you can't go out. You need to be here. Right after the week after she gave birth, I played a show with Flight of Voices at the Village. And I was like, are you sure? Can I do this? She's like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Nice.
And so she's got it. And it's like we have a great relationship. We've been together for so many years now, where it's not as maybe crazy and hectic as it could be for someone else in a different circumstance, different set of personalities. So it's been good, and I credit it really to her competence and confidence as a mother and ability. And she's not working right now, so she's able. So it's been good.
Yeah.
Long story short, it's been good, and I've been able to still go out and do music.
Nice.
Like I said, I've finding time to do these TikTok live streams. But it is exhausting. It is tiring.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this: I thought I knew tired. Like I thought I knew the definition of tired. But then you have a kid who is waking up every 2 hours. You got to feed him. They got to be upright for half an hour. You got to put him back to sleep. Yeah. I have never known. It's like it's a new kind of tired, and just not taking on as many gigs and writing gigs. It's just like I don't have the energy. Yeah. But it's coming back, and I will say that the thing I love about music, again, it gives me life, and no matter how tired I am walking into a show to play, I'm spirit lifts me back up, and it's just like so this has only kind of further cemented like the power of music to lift myself up as a performer and other people around me. It gives me again, like, do what gives you life. And like if you're doing what you love to do, it only gives you energy.
I think one thing you hit on was just the importance of your decision of who you end up with, who you marry when you're, a musician, because they have to be, supportive and kind of able to handle things, which sounds like your wife is, and that's amazing. Congrats again on the new addition to the family. That's awesome. Greg, appreciate you, man.
My pleasure, man. Appreciate you, Broadway.
Yeah, appreciate you coming through, man. It's been a great conversation. I think people can get a lot out of it, so thank you, brother.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, man.
All right, dude.
All right. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Broadway, the host. If you got something out of the episode, definitely go ahead and hit the like button. Also subscribe and turn on the notifications so you can get notified whenever we drop new episodes. If there was something specific that you learned or found interesting, put that in the comments. Also, if there was something that you thought you were going to learn more about, wanted to hear more about, and you didn't, put that in the comments as well. We can use that to make these episodes better going forward. Thank you again for checking out They're Good at That Shit.